My next guest, Shelby Russell, was hired as executive director of the Kids Cancer Alliance in May 2010. She had volunteered at the camp as a counselor for 5 years and also worked as the outpatient social worker at the University of Kentucky Pediatric Hematology Oncology Clinic before her employment with Kids Cancer Alliance. That said, welcome to Aging with Grace 55 plus. How are you, Shelby?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, and it's been such a pleasure getting to know you. And I thought it'd be great to share with our listeners the importance of volunteerism. It's such a passion for you, and kind of flesh out that passion. How did you get involved with the Kids Cancer Line? I know you're a counselor, but what's your passion?
My path too.
Yes. What is your passion as in terms of, and how do you keep yourself motivated for this organization?
Sure. Yeah. And I think it all comes down to passion because working in the nonprofit field, it's both challenging and rewarding.
Mhm.
But you have to be passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
It makes it more fulfilling and rewarding. I first got involved with Kids Cancer Alliance organization when I was a college student,
Okay.
almost 18 years ago.
Wow.
And somebody told me I should go and volunteer at Camp KCA. I said, sign me up. And from the moment I walked onto the campsite, I immediately fell in love with the organization, its mission, and especially working with the children with cancer and their family members. It was just so inspiring. And from that moment, I knew that that's what I was meant to do.
Yeah. But I mean, you have such a challenge, right? I mean, kids cancer, that is something that I think would be very difficult to deal with, to work in. And we'll talk about your mission in a minute, but you mentioned something off mic about the importance of self-care, no matter where you volunteer. Flesh that out a little bit, please.
Yeah, self-care is critical. I think anytime that you're working in environments that may be stressful or like we work with kids with cancer, they are
Mhm.
facing a life-threatening illness. And while the
Yeah.
majority of them will survive that illness, some do not. So you have to have a good support system in place. You have to have outlets. You have to be able to process it in healthy ways.
Hmm.
And, for us, knowing that we are giving these children and their families the memories and the joy, friendships, connections, and support,
Hmm.
knowing that we're doing that makes the challenging times and the difficult times worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, l- your organization relies on volunteers to accomplish its mission. And when you're talking about the self-care, you're talking about you're also talking about attracting and empowering others, right? So let's talk a little bit about volunteers, which are so critical to nonprofit organizations, including yours.
They absolutely are. Their volunteers are critical to any organization of any size.
Mhm.
We were actually our camp was started over 41 years ago, and we've since grown, and we now offer over 30 programs throughout the year beyond just.
Wow.
And all of those programs are reliant on volunteers to make it possible.
Hmm.
So we would not be able to offer our programs. Our mission would not be possible without volunteers who are giving their time, their talent, their treasure to make our camps, our
Hmm.
in-hospital programs, our financial assistance programs, to make those possible. We were actually volunteer ran for 29 of our 41 years.
Really,
Yeah.
really.
So, I encourage anyone who's interested in volunteering to find an organization that they're passionate about.
Hmm. Yeah, because especially as we age, right? And not only as we age, but no matter where you are on the spectrum, volunteering can be life challenging, especially for those who suffer from low self-esteem. Helping others in the community can boost confidence by providing a sense of accomplishment and give them a sense of pride and identity, no matter where you are on the spectrum. Agree?
Absolutely. Yeah. And we have volunteers that range anywhere from age 18 up to mid 80s.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think that anybody, no matter where you are in life, everybody kind of brings their own skill set, brings their own background, their own knowledge and life experience.
Mhm.
And I believe that everybody has something to give to the nonprofit field. And I encourage that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, again, just to kind of hammer that point home, loneliness becomes, it can also lead to significant health risk in older adults. Perhaps they've lost their spouse, they've lost friends. And so older adults, which this program is primed for, Aging with Grace 55 plus, they have a higher risk for loneliness and social isolation. And so this volunteerism, this concept helps to connect them to people and strengthen bonds between new friends, family, and also, those who are running organizations such as yours. Have you found this to be the case too?
Yeah, we've definitely seen that. I mean, the research consistently shows that by volunteering, you're increasing your quality of life. Like
Hmm.
you said, those connections with the community.
Hmm.
I think it also can provide that sense of purpose
Yeah.
um, and fulfillment, knowing that you're giving back, knowing that you're helping others. And I think especially working with an organization that works with children and teens like Kids Cancer Alliance.
Hmm.
I think there's something about that that kind of keeps you young and keeps you fresh. And I know that when I am around these children who are battling this life-threatening illness,
Yeah.
but yet they just have this sense of joy. They just
Mm.
want to have fun. They just want to be kids and enjoy what's around them. They appreciate the little things. And it helps remind me to do that as an adult. So I
Mhm.
think that all of those things combined can really provide this fulfillment and this joy and connection with the community.
Yeah, and what I didn't realize until studying your website, which we encourage our listeners to also visit, which is kidscanceralliance.org. Um, I did not realize that this is a year-long program. So it's 1981, right? You've got Camp KCA, you've got family retreats, you got in-hospital programs. I mean, it's a plethora of programs that you guys are running, not a one-shot deal, but sounds like you're trying to provide normalcy for these families who have kids with cancer.
That's exactly right. Through our camps, our retreats, our in-hospital programs, and financial assistance, our goal is really to provide not only normalcy during those programs, but
Mhm.
also joy and wonder and kind of once in a lifetime experiences as well, so that they have those memories
Mhm.
and the connections with one another. Connecting families, connecting kids with each other so that they know that they're not alone on their cancer journey.
Mm.
While each story is unique, while each person's journey is unique, but knowing that there are others going through similar experiences can really help them and provide that sense of joy and combat the isolation that can come with cancer.
Well, let's kind of probe that a little bit. And for our listeners, I hope you're enjoying this interview as much as I am with Shelby Russell, who's executive director of the Kids Cancer Alliance. And I hope you're enjoying this interview as much as I am as we go to the next question, which is this, Shelby. You say you enjoy working for KCA because there's a new challenge around the corner and because you're continuously learning from and being inspired by the children and families your organization serves. How so?
Yeah, I mean the families, like I said, they are facing a life-threatening disease, yet they are so inspiring because they do it so bravely. They have no other choice but to be brave, to be strong,
Mhm.
and just seeing them in those circumstances and knowing what they value the most, which is their family, their support system, their friends. It reminds us all what's important,
Mhm.
not taking the little things for granted,
Yeah.
making sure our priorities are straight. And I think our volunteers see that too, working working with the families. It really kind of brings everything home and reminds us all what's important and makes it really rewarding.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Let me get you to reflect on something that I'm not sure who said it first, either Representative and presidential candidate Shirley Chisholm or Muhammad Ali, but both of them, this quote has been attributed to both. One of them says, "Service is the rent," and actually both of them said, "Service is the rent we pay for the privilege of living on this earth." Service is the rent we pay for the privilege on living on this earth. What does that mean to you? How does that resonate with you?
Yeah, I think it's so true. We all have something to give, no matter where we are in our life, and bringing in our backgrounds and our experience and giving back to organizations and back to the community. I always encourage people to really find an organization that pulls on their heartstrings, that really motivates them. And there's a variety of ways to give back. Some people love to volunteer directly with clients, directly with kids and families. Other people choose to volunteer their skill sets.
Yeah.
So whether it's on a finance committee or a marketing committee, there are ways that anybody can give back, and kind of in a way that motivates them, that excites them, that keeps them energized. So it's kind of one of those things where it's not a one size fits all. There are lots of ways to volunteer your time that I don't think that everybody's aware of.
I'm going to ask you in conclusion, my last question, which will be to share with us perhaps some of your highs and some of your challenges that continue as executive director for the Kids Alliance. But before I do, I think it's good for especially older people, right, who have perhaps wealth or wherever you are on the financial spectrum, to think about not only tithing your time, not only tithing your money and financial resources, but also tithing your time. Because as Shelby said, there's so many areas, so many possibilities, so many opportunities to get involved with whatever nonprofit that you're interested in. And of course, right now we're talking about the Kids Cancer Alliance, but no matter what community you're in, there's some place you can plug in. And now we return to Shelby for the last question. You want to respond to that?
Yeah, I think the biggest highs and biggest lows, I'll start with the lows and then end on the positive.
Okay.
I think the biggest challenge with, I would venture to say, most nonprofits is that the need is so great that there's always more than that can be done. And we're kind of challenged to do a lot with a little, which is why, just stresses the importance of needing volunteers to kind of adding to the manpower. The more people, the better. It really takes a village to do all of the things and to meet the needs in the community for nonprofits. And I would say the highs, working with children with cancer and seeing them, we just had our camp week last week, and seeing them at camp, running around, smiling, accomplishing something new, catching a fish for the first time, or hitting a bullseye at archery.
Wow.
That pride that they experience learning a new skill, and then just seeing like the joy and laughter and the friendships that are made. There's nothing better. There is no greater reward than seeing that.
Now we know what fuels your passion as executive director of the Kids Cancer Alliance. Shelby's been their executive director since May 2010, having volunteered at the camp as a counselor for 5 years and working later as outpatient social worker at the Pediatric Hematology Oncology Clinic at the University of Kentucky. With that said, thank you so much, Shelby. And for those who want more information, please give them your website again and how to get a hold of you.
Sure. Anybody can find out more about Kids Cancer Alliance on our website, kidscanceralliance.org. And we are also on Facebook and Instagram.
Very good. Shelby, thank you so much for a wonderful interview. And I trust you enjoy the rest of your day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.